Hey, Larken Rose here. I thought I would quick do this video while I'm moving. This is the last video you'll see in front of this sort of ugly fireplace. So once again, we have the No Kings events going on. And so many different things reminded me of this in the last couple days. A song by, Nickelback, of all bands, called Revolution. I forget all the different things. A lot of different things reminded me of this, so I thought I'd do a video about it. The fact that lots and lots of people naturally get upset at feeling abused and deceived and manipulated and robbed and oppressed and all that fun stuff. It's natural for people to resist that. And I know a lot of you will say, no, they vote for it. Yeah, but what happens in between? Because it's natural for people to have the feels and the anger and the emotions in response to bad things are happening. Unfortunately, almost nobody bothers to understand the actual problem. So they whine against symptoms and then fall for some new scheme. As it happens, Mr. Smith, in the novel version of The Jones Plantation, explains this a little bit more than he does in the movie. So here's a quote. This is when the slaves, workers, are getting uppity. Quote, "They still need an outlet for their frustration. Allowing them to moan and complain lets them release a lot of anger and resentment. If you try to bottle that up, eventually something will break. More importantly, if you limit what a man can think, you don't have to limit what he can say. Yes, they are frustrated. Are they talking about running away or refusing to work? No. They think that this election is the proper civilized way to try to change things. They think that this gives them some control over things here. We are creating something to deflect and diffuse their resentment so it doesn't become something more problematic. Their focus and their mindset are exactly where I want them to be." End quote. Again, that's Mr. Smith explaining how he is managing the human livestock in the novel version of The Jones Plantation. So, sadly, that reminds me so much of everything we're seeing right now on all sides with the No Kings protests. It's easy to be mad at symptoms, and it's justified to be mad at symptoms of authoritarianism. So at least I have to commend people for, okay, you recognize something's wrong. At least you got that. But if you don't understand the cause, then you're going to do counterproductive, utterly pointless things. Everybody who is in politics, including people running for office, they pretend to be rebellious. Obama was all about hope and change. Like, what we have now is bad. Give me power, it'll be something different. Wow, that's only what every single candidate, left and right, always says in one way or another. Like Trump, pretending to be an anti-establishment outsider fighting the deep state. And so if people don't understand, you're putting up a new king. They're gonna, all of their energy and all their righteous anger is just gonna go in completely pointless directions. So I'll start with the completely misguided leftists who are out there having No Kings protests. Okay, good for you recognizing that there's some bonkers BS going on. Did any of you say anything about it when Democrats were doing that? When Obama was literally murdering people? Just drone strikes? Just like Trump is doing now. Now, Trump does it more openly and obnoxiously and braggy about it. Here's a video of me giving the order to murder a bunch of people in a boat. But they're super bad, so you got to do it. So he just outright displays dictatorial mindset. Obama did the same things, but he couched it in a bunch of BS propaganda and rhetoric to make it sound like something else. But if you're only going to protest just fascist authoritarian evil when certain people do it, you're not against authoritarianism. And the whole Antifa thing, it's not even an organization. It's sort of this vague idea that gets hijacked, and then there's infiltrators in it, and there's some people who are just upset about fascist garbage. Okay, good. Are you also upset when it's done by your guys? And the answer is no, they're not. And COVID demonstrated that more than anything. How many loving, caring liberals were absolutely cheering for just ridiculous authoritarian fascism. You don't get to leave your house until government says you can. And we're going to try to bully all of you into getting this crappy injection. And we're going to make you wear masks that don't do any good. And we're going to demonize anybody. I mean, and it was just ridiculous. It wasn't just, well, you can think that and you can think that. Random weird aside, I'm watching a little bit more football in the NFL because Aaron Rodgers came back. And now he plays for the Steelers. Now, you may think, what the hell are you talking about? Where did that come from? Aaron Rodgers and who was the blonde guy, the wide receiver? Bill, somebody, I should remember it. There were like two guys in the NFL who were like, we're not taking your stupid shot. No. They were so condemned and hated and attacked by the left and the not at all mainstream media, just bashing it wasn't just, oh, well, you can have your opinion. You're endangering people. You didn't toe the line and do what our master said. You're evil. A hell of a lot of Democrats were doing that. The same ones who are now saying, no kings. Where was your no kings message when it was your guy who was king of this ridiculous clown show and destroying countless lives and torturing children? Here, wear this mask that doesn't do any good to protect you from a disease that poses absolutely no threat to you. We need to, and if you're against that, you're just absolute conformist fascist mindset of a hell of a lot of people on the left. And so, yeah, don't pretend that you have any principle against authoritarian centralized control. Well, that was to protect people. Well, gee, what does Trump and the right say is the reason for all the ICE fascism? It's to protect people. That's always what psychopaths and power-happy political parasites say. This is to protect people from those scary people. We need centralized authoritarian control. So the idea that leftists are in any way in favor of individual freedom, no, you're not. And the thing is, you can still be righteously upset by things going on today. Okay, good. I'm not going to say you're wrong to be upset today. I'm saying you're wrong to ignore the same kind of crap when your guy does it, because you have been trained to channel your anger, your righteous anger, in a direction that doesn't do any good. We're going to vote out Trump. And then what? I mean, you don't even have to now. He's a lame duck. But then what? Then we're going to get a Democrat on the throne, and he's going to spread goodness and love and compassion. No, he's not. He's going to spread violence like they always do, like Biden did, like Obama did, like Clinton did, like all of them left and right, going back forever, have always done. And there will be victims of the stupid authoritarian crap that you believe in. And unless and until you're actually opposed to authoritarianism in principle, your noise is meaningless and your solutions are counterproductive. Trump got elected by people angry at the authoritarian shit that you made excuses for. If you're on the left, that's why anybody wanted Trump in there, because they were upset by the authoritarian, socialist, collectivist crap the U.S. ruling class was doing. And they were dumb enough to somehow think that Trump was going to change that, which is exactly what you're doing now. We're going to rail against you mean Nazi Republicans. And then what? Advocate, so, well, certainly we should have free health care and free, oh, you mean government-controlled, extortion-funded commie care? No, it's loving and compassionate when we ask government to initiate widespread violence against everybody. No, it's not. And it's like a competition to see who can be the bigger bootlickers, the bootlickers on the left or the bootlickers on the right. And obviously there are plenty of misguided right-wingers who imagine themselves to be rebellious, the whole thing of supporting Trump. And then turning around, yeah, we're owning us illegal immigrants. Funny how you went from you're upset that the government is victimizing you to you're cheering for the government victimizing somebody else because you were duped into thinking that one of the other victims of the ruling class is somehow the problem. No, they're not. In every way, government is the problem, no matter who's in there. And you see, and this isn't even, it isn't specific to time or place. In Israel and in Gaza and the evil crap that's been done there, both sides do, and I'm not saying both sides are equal in the evil they commit. Both sides are equally stupid in their pack mentality, where they're condemning categories instead of the individuals that do evil shit. Because there's plenty of individuals that do evil shit in the Middle East. Some of them work for the parasitical ruling class of Israel. Some of them don't. Right now, the power of the ruling class of Israel is absolutely massive and dwarfs anything else in the area. And the mass bombing and murder and just heinous atrocities they've done is like way out of scale to anything anybody else in the area is even capable of. They don't even have the machinery to do that, even if they were that psychotic. But the mentality is the same thing. We are so upset by this injustice. Okay, what injustice? Innocent people got harmed. Okay, so far I'm with you. That's bad. That's really bad. So we need a government solution where innocent people get harmed. And what people don't recognize is they're not just, whoops, we tried a solution that didn't really work very well. They are cheering for the problem. They are useful idiots empowering the same people victimizing them, the same people they're complaining about. And the whole facade of voting of, we're going to vote in Republicans to save us from the Democrats. Are there Republicans power? Yeah. Do they have the House and the Senate and the White House? Yeah. Have they undone all that stuff the Democrats did? No. Did they increase taxes? Yeah. Did they increase spending? Yeah. Did they increase warmongering? Yeah. Flip it around. When the left gets in there, do they do all the same things? Yeah. And the fact that, like, ICE was doing evil crap for many, many years under both bogus parties, kidnapping people. The fact that Trump came along and intentionally made it more fascist and intentionally openly brutal, yeah, that makes him a piece of crap. But are you just going to pretend that Obama and Biden and Clinton didn't do those things? Are you going to look the other way when it's not the people that you were taught to hate? Because it's so easy for the ruling class to just take two groups of slaves and make them hate each other and yell at each other, even while they're all imagining themselves to be anti-establishment rebels. And it's a really weird thing to watch. If you support the Republicans, you're not an anti-establishment rebel. You're bootlicking dumbass empowering the rulers. But if you're a Democrat protesting this, you're not an anti-establishment rebel. You're a bootlicking dumbass empowering psychopaths. Like you did before, like you will again. And the fact that so many people can just literally empower their own abusers while imagining that they're righteously fighting against it. We want change and we want it now. Change to what? Everybody wearing purple top hats? That would be change. Does that count? Is the world fixed if you get that change? What the fuck change are you trying to get? Because for almost all of you, the change is just which jackboot you want on your throat, right or left. That isn't a change that matters. That's not a change worth fighting for. You're not rebelling against anything that's actually a threat. You're just whining about the particular flavor of authoritarianism that's happening today. And so while the ruling class constantly tries to exploit and use people's natural rebelliousness to, ironically, empower authoritarianism, and it worked on Democrats and it's working on Republicans, what I'm trying to do is get all those rebellious people, left and right and whatever else, to actually be rebellious against the establishment. And none of them are. If you support the Republicans or Democrats, you are in no way, shape, or form on the side of the people. You're on the side of the ruling class. You're just bickering about what exact flavor of oppression you prefer. That's just... But it's so weird to me how many people imagine themselves to be the rebels. Like, sure, there's plenty of people at the No Kings rallies who imagine themselves, we're brave rebels standing up for freedom against this tyrannical... No, you're not. What are you for? You can say you're against fascist bullshit. Okay, me too. So far, so good. What are you for? In the ideal world, if you got to choose the type of government, what it does, who it controls, how it taxes and all that, what are you for? Because just bitching about the fact that, hey, that guy keeps whipping us. Yeah, that's bad. Being against that is, yeah, you should be against that. Also, it's not particularly virtuous to be against that. Duh, nobody likes to be whipped. You're being abused. If you're being abused right now by some favor of fascism that you're against, and a few years ago you were cheering for people's lives to be destroyed because they weren't going along with the experts, the lying scumbags who got paid by the ruling class to scare and control people. Okay, you're not pro-freedom. You just don't want to be victimized. Guess what? That's everybody. It's not even restricted to human beings. Yeah, every animal that hunts and kills other animals also tries not to get hunted and killed itself. No animal wants to be the one on the receiving end of the violence. Okay, that doesn't make you a brave, virtuous human. That makes you like a sentient creature. It's like everything does that. Everything tries to avoid pain for itself. And trying to pass that off as some virtuous, principled thing when tomorrow you're going to cheer for a different flavor of authoritarianism inflicted on somebody else, you're just a complete fraud and a coward. You're not anti-evil. You just want the evil to land on somebody else instead of you. And that's absolutely true of all of the Republicans supporting Trump and all this crap just as much as it is of the left. And this is by design. A massive amount of propaganda is put into making sure that the human livestock never really focuses on the real problem. We're just super mad at Trump. Okay, if Trump gets eaten by a walrus tomorrow, then what? What do you actually believe in? What are you for? What are you against? What do you advocate as far as what human society should look like? I know what I advocate, which is don't have a fucking ruling class. Because if you do, it's going to abuse people. It's going to rob people. It's going to do nasty things. It's going to engage in warmongering. It's going to do corrupt, evil crap. It's going to control things. It's going to hurt people. If you can't accept that and go, oh, maybe I should cheer against all nastiness and oppression and authoritarianism, you're just a plaything of the worst people in the world. I'm going to get super mad at Trump because these fine, loving, caring rulers told me I should hate him. Oh, well, as it happens, his followers are super mad at those libtards and those corrupt Democrats, and we're going to cheer for authoritarian fascism against innocent people because we're just fighting those bad guys. And our good guy politicians told us we should. If you have that kind of limit on your ability to think, you're not in any way, shape, or form a threat to the machine. Even if you disobey some particular command of some particular ruling class, if you turn around and cheer for some other authoritarian control against some other person in some other direction, that's not you being rebellious against oppression. That's just you bitching about the wrong flavor of oppression. No, that's not the flavor of oppression I wanted. I wanted this flavor of oppression, abusing those people instead of me. Well, that just makes you the same as every sewer rat and cockroach and every other sentient thing in the universe. Yeah, you don't want to suffer, and if you don't give a shit about other people suffering, including people who aren't like you, and don't sound like you, and don't think like you, and don't believe the same things as you, don't pretend to be virtuous. Don't pretend that you're doing something courageous and principled, because you're not. You don't even know what you're revolting against if you still believe in government. And again, that's by design. So maybe while you're righteously yelling about some bad thing, in between righteously cheering for a different bad thing, which is what everybody who believes in government does, maybe actually pause for 2 seconds, get outside your virtue signaling in your fields, whether you're left or right, figure out what the real enemy of humanity is, the real enemy of justice and truth, and rebel against that. And that's not going to look like a political campaign. You're not going to have political signs. You're not going to say, I'm going to vote for this guy. You're going to figure out, oh, that's just part of the game that is the foundation of this evil. Maybe when you go to a no kings event, you should advocate actually having no kings. Now, there are probably a few people there who are like libertarians or voluntarists or something who actually believe that, but they are few and far between. I guarantee it. The vast majority of people are saying, no kings, absolutely believe in kings. They just want a different kind of king that they're not going to call a king because they don't view that authoritarian subjugation as evil. No, that's the good kind of government violence where we rob the shit out of everybody and then give away free stuff so we can feel better about ourselves as we demolish the economy and destroy lives and cage people for not funding the machine. Until you figure out what needs rebelling against, all your good intentions and your good feels of, I'm going to go protest this, it's not doing any stinking good, because tomorrow you're going to be cheering for something just as bad. Might look a little bit different, might have different victims, might be called something else, but you're still cheering for authoritarian domination. You're not in any way an actual rebel against the machine. It's just two sets of puppets that the machine are putting on a show with. Look how much they yell at each other and hate each other. Do any of them advocate a free society? No. Do they all advocate the people be subjugated and extorted and oppressed by a ruling class? Yep, every single Democrat, every single Republican, every single voter, everyone who believes in government. So as much as I appreciate all these things in the culture that sort of celebrates rebelliousness, most of the people who watch that stuff and cheer for that stuff, they've never thought about anything. And they don't at all recognize you're not one of the rebels. You're one of the cheerleaders of the empire. You're cheering for stormtroopers. And I don't like the stormtroopers that wear that. I want this kind of stormtrooper. So yeah, before you decide to go show how bravely rebellious you are, maybe look in the frickin' mirror and make sure you're not turning around and cheering for the same oppressive bullshit that today you're complaining about because you might be on the receiving end of it. How about don't oppress anybody? How about don't tread on anybody? Republicans, Democrats, can any of you handle that? No, not without no longer being Democrats or Republicans. Because as long as you play these stupid games, there's nothing rebellious about you. You're a bunch of pathetic bootlickers cheering for the subjugation of mankind and occasionally whining about a particular symptom of the evil crap that you cheered for doesn't make you virtuous. It just makes you an idiot. Whoever would have thought that all those times we cheered for government to have tons of power over things, they'd end up using the power to do bad things? Well, people who know how to think thought that the whole time, which is why they weren't cheering for that power. Maybe figure out how to do that and be an actual rebel if you want to think of yourself as being a rebel.